So the tour of the wetland begins here. Here we have some really lush farmland, and all of the water that runs off of the farmland will go into this ditch here. And as you can see, it's not the cleanest water, but this is the quality of water that it starts out as before it flows into the wetland, which is over there. And we'll go check that out next. So the water flows from that ditch I just showed you that's over there, and it flows all the way through pipes into what we call the forebay. And this is kind of just a holding pond for the water, and it's just stored before it's then sent into the bioreactor, which we'll go check out right now, and then afterwards into the wetland, which is way back there, and we'll check that out later. The water flows from the forebay and into the bioreactor. So what a bioreactor is just another way that we clean the water that comes from the farmland. So this specific bioreactor has a bunch of different experimental treatments. So this channel doesn't have anything in it, but this one has wood chips in it, and this one has wetland plants in it. So we're sending water through these different little channels into each of these treatments, and then we sample it on the other side, and we can see which of these specific channels is removing water or removing the pollutants from the water the best. So which treatment helps us clean the water the most. So after the water flows through the bioreactor in one of these 12 channels, it flows out of these white pipes there. You can kind of see water coming out and into the wetland. So this is just one view of the wetland, but it's huge, and let's go check it out. So to orient you, those are the smokestacks at Moss Landing. And here's part of our wetland here, and some more wetland over there. So this is right in the middle of that farmland that you see on the right side of Highway 1 when you're driving toward the smokestacks. I also just noticed as I was pointing out the smokestacks that we have our game camera here. So we use this to capture any animals or birds that fly by, and it's motion sensed. So one of the creatures that we get out here is called the muskrat, and it's a little mammal. It's a rodent, and they really like to dig holes. So that looks like a muskrat hole, and they always dig between the dry land and the water. So they can hold their breath for a really long time and spend a lot of time in the water, actually. So this is actually a plant that we planted, and you can tell that because it has this little flag on a stake there. This is a yarrow plant, and it looks like it's doing really well. We would have planted this when it was a couple inches tall, and now it's a full-grown adult. This is one of my favorite parts of the wetland because all the birds seem to really like it. So I'm gonna try and walk up to them and see if I can film them, but there's a chance they fly away. So let's see what happens. So that's a snowy egret, actually a great egret. The snowy egrets are a little bit smaller. I think it was hiding in the bulrush over there. Let's see if we can get a little closer to these wading birds. Oh, there were some wrens that just flew in there. So I don't know if you can see that, but all those birds that were just flying around in there are called marsh wrens. And I think that we included a picture of those on the guide. Let's see if we can get closer out here. So all those birds, when they're sticking their head in the water like that, they're feeding. So they're looking for little bugs and things.